Good morning, friends. As you can see here, I've created a poster that says all about the rainforest. This week, we will talk a little bit more about the rainforest, which is a habitat on our earth where lots of plants and animals live. As we go through this chart, I'd like you to think about what you know about the rainforest and then add to that these facts that I'm telling you here. First, there's lots of water and rain in the rainforest. It can also be very hot and humid. We all know what it means to be hot, but humid actually means when there's lots of water in that hot air. It's that weather that makes us feel kind of sticky and sweaty. I absolutely hate humid weather, but that's the reality of the weather a lot of times in the rainforest. There's also many plants and animals. We'll learn more about those this week. There are different layers to the rainforest. Different layers. Does that make you think of anything that we've learned about before? If you're thinking the deciduous forest, you're right. We learned that the deciduous forest also has 5 layers, and different animals and plants live amongst those layers. There's also different tall trees in the rainforest, along with shrubs, plants, all different types of plants at different levels, but there are tons of very, very tall trees. So tall that when you look up, it actually seems like there's a layer of leaves so far away that they look like the clouds. Cool, huh? Let's read a story about the rainforest to get a little more of an understanding about this new habitat. Now let's read a story about the rainforest. This is called At Home in the Rainforest. It's kind of a long one, so I might skip around a little bit. Raindrops roll off the tips of thick, waxy leaves, making a drip, drip, dripping sound. When the cool rain stops falling, a breeze shakes the treetops. In the highest branches of the tropical trees, billions of bright green leaves catch the light of the returning sun. From above, the leaves look like one huge green ocean. Like an ocean, the rainforest shelters many creatures. That means it provides a home to many different creatures and animals that live there. Here are 4 different types of leaves and trees that live in the rainforest. The Brazil nut tree, the kapok tree, I'll have to look up how to pronounce that one. The fig tree, another tricky one. The cecropia tree, We'll have to do some research on pronunciation. At dawn, the bats finish drinking the nectar from the night blooming kapok flowers. They swoop back to their home in a hollow tree. There, they will sleep all through the day. Hey, what's that word for animals that hunt at night and sleep during the day? Do you remember? Nocturnal! Yeah, animals that sleep during the day are called nocturnal. There's some other cool information about those birds. Here are some different flowers and a South American long-tongued bat and a nectar-eating bat. There are tons of cool animals that live in the rainforest. Suddenly, the hungry harpy eagle flies from its perch, diving full speed into the leafy canopy. The enormous bird twists and turns between the large branches. A startled troop of howler monkeys leaps quickly away, swinging from tree to tree on looping liana vines. All but one escape. So check out these monkeys. The red howler monkeys live in the rainforest. Lots of different types of plants and vines. Vines are tree branches that kind of swing and string together to create things for monkeys to swing from. The monkeys gather in the branches of the cecropia tree. The male howler monkeys announce their new territory with a trumpeting "Aowa!" Their deafening roars can be heard over a mile away. Wow, that means they're pretty loud. The forest is full of other sounds. A big woodpecker pecks rat-a-tat-tat, looking for ants and beetle larvae beneath the bark of broken balsa wood tree. Cicadas, the world's loudest insects, rub their front wings together, making their siren sound. A passionflower butterfly is the only silent one. It drifts quietly by a heavy pod of ripening Brazil nuts. So far, we've learned about monkeys, different birds, cicadas, which is a type of insect, butterflies, lots of cool animals so far we've learned about that live in the rainforest. The passion flower butterfly heads toward a vanilla bean. A vanilla bean? That makes me think of a sweet treat. The bean is the seed pod of a vanilla orchid that grows high up on a branch. The scent of vanilla drifts from the ripened vanilla bean, sweetening the moist forest air. The passion flower butterfly stays out of reach of a pygmy marmoset. This marmoset is so small it could curl up in the palm of your hand. The butterfly goes on searching for a passion flower vine. Only on the spiraling tendrils of this vine will she lay her yellow eggs. Sounds like those butterflies are pretty picky about where they lay their very special eggs. So we learned about a vanilla bean plant, a marmoset, a butterfly. All those different animals live there. Here it says vanilla bean, the orchid bee, the pygmy marmoset, and the vanilla orchid. The passion flower vine, The passion flower vine twines around a fruiting fig tree. Figs are the favorite snack of a flock of toucans. Each toucan uses the saw-like edge of its bill to snip off figs. Wait, you mean their bills are really sharp? That's an interesting fact. They use that really sharp bill to snip off figs, which is something that it eats. It holds the fruit at the tip of its bill and tosses the fig up in the air to catch it. Gulp. Next to the toucans, a parrot balances on one foot, using the other to pluck figs from the tree. The woolly monkeys use both hands to eat figs while hanging by their tails. Each of these creatures helps spread the fig tree seeds by dropping many of them as they eat. We know that's an important part to these habitats, how the plants continue to create more plants. And we learned in our other habitats that a lot of animals help that to happen by dropping the seeds as they eat, or even remember eating seeds and then pooping them out. So more animals we learned about on that page. Sounds like there's lots of monkeys in the rainforest. Without warning, a fruit falls from a cannonball tree. Cannonball? Like the cannonballs we do in the pool? Ooh. The fruit is so big and heavy that it crashes through the leaves, startling the fig eaters. With a burst of colors, the parrots and toucans take flight. The woolly monkeys swing into a tree with leaves like umbrellas. On a branch below them, 3 sharp hooks mean they have company. 3 sharp hooks. I think the birds are in town if they see those sharp hooks. Oh, look, here's the fruit from a cannonball tree. Those sharp hooks are the claws of a 3-toed sloth. My prediction was not correct. I thought it meant the birds were around, but really, what did it say? A 3-toed sloth. It is hanging upside down from a cecropia tree. The sloth does everything upside down, even sleep. Its shaggy fur is parted on its belly and hangs down so that rain rolls off. The sloth moves no faster than 4 feet per minute, making it the slowest mammal of all. It is so slow that greenish algae grows on its fur. The greenish color helps it blend in with the leaves so that a passing jaguar does not even see it. Whoa, jaguars? Jaguars live in the rainforest? Wow, that's pretty cool. So those sloths, I see a sloth kind of a little bit hiding in with its habitat. Do you remember that word? When something blends into its habitat? If you said camouflage, you're right. He's kind of camouflaging into his habitat because they mentioned that green algae that grows on him because they move so slow. The sloth lifts its arms like a slow motion dancer and begins its weekly journey to the floor of the forest. Lowering itself through the leafy canopy down into the bushy understory, it will pass by white-faced capuchin monkeys and 2 other neighbors who have grasping tails. Oh, another tricky word I see. I'm going to try my best to read it. The kinkajou is sleeping now, but it will wake up at sundown to play and eat. The tamandawa is hunting for ants and termites. It tears open an ant nest with its sharp claws and whips out its long, thin, sticky tongue to eat the ants. These and many other creatures live in the trees. Some never visit the ground far below. So there we learn that some animals kind of stay in their own territory. If they live in a certain layer, that's the only place that they stay. That's an interesting fact. I hear lots of different kinds of monkeys living in the rainforest. I like that fact because I think monkeys are cute and playful. There are many plants that live in the trees too, with their roots in the air and not in the dirt. Roots in the air and not in the dirt. I'm going to read that one more time because that's kind of a surprise to my brain. Roots in the air and not in the dirt? What? I've never heard of such a thing. The bromeliad, like a pineapple, has long spiky leaves which circle round and form a cone in the middle. Inside this cone is a very small pond filled with rainwater. Salamanders come here to lay eggs. Tree frogs bring their tadpoles here to grow up. Many snails and beetles live their entire lives in this bromeliad pond. So these are bromeliad leaves. And look at, the roots actually grow in the air off of branches instead of hunkered down in the ground like we've always learned plants grow. Here's a picture of a salamander, a tree frog tadpole, that's actually a poison arrow frog, and a stink bug. You guys all know stink bugs. You don't like those guys, huh? Look, he's hiding right there. We're almost done. A bright green anole lizard on its way down the treetop stopped for a sip of water at a bromeliad pond. A lot of activity goes on nearby. Bees search for fresh pollen. Harlequin beetles eat nourishing tree sap. A ruby topaz hummingbird seems suspended in midair, though it is beating its wings 50 times each second. It hovers while drinking nectar from the flowers of the vines. A scampering squirrel monkey scurries right through onto the next tree, knocking a ripening cacao pod full of chocolatey seeds to the ground. Kerplunk. Parents, if you're listening here, please remember, teaching kindergarten is a gift because if you make mistakes on vocabulary words, it often goes unnoticed. So just know I'm trying my best. Oh, look, here is a cocoa pod. I guess that word was just knocking a ripe cocoa pod full of chocolatey seeds to the ground. Never seen it spelled like that. A harlequin beetle, ruby topaz hummingbird, and an anole lizard. I like this picture, this illustration. Could you guess why I like this picture? If you guessed 1, because I mentioned that I like monkeys, you'd be correct. And if you guessed 2, because my favorite color is pink, and look at these beautiful pink flowers, you'd be correct again. If you guessed because I probably like chocolate and there's those cocoa plants, oh yeah. On the dim forest floor rests a leaf butterfly that looks just like a fallen leaf. Next to it, a giant walking stick is disguised as a twig. They're silly guys. They disguise themselves. I wonder why bugs would disguise themselves as a twig. Sounds like an adaptation that might work to, I don't know, maybe keep them safe. Were you thinking that? Absolutely. It watches millipedes, spiders, and ants on their daily search for food. Some leafcutter ants have just come out of their nest and are climbing one by one up a tree. They will chew off pieces of leaves and bring them back to their nest. Other leafcutter ants are already returning to the nest with leaves to chew into wet mush. They use the mush to grow a mushroom-like fungus for their food. These bugs are pretty smart, wouldn't you say? Remember when we learned about how plants can make their own food? And we would always kind of laugh saying, oh, are they grilling up a cheeseburger? No, Mrs. Genecco. Are they making themselves a peanut butter and jelly? No, of course not. They make the food that they need to stay alive. These insects, they just mentioned, they use this mush that they find to grow a fungus that becomes their food. That is a great adaptation. Wow. It's really incredible how all these animals find all these adaptations to make them stay alive. Oh boy! Whew! I got scared. I saw some spooky animals. What seemed to be a long, slender vine when the ants passed by is an emerald boa, a tree snake who is watching for its next bite to eat. It slithers across the trunk of a rubber tree, slashes in the bark show that a person has been there gathering sap to make into latex rubber. The emerald boa tries to sneak up on an iguana. Even though the iguana knows there is danger, it doesn't move until the snake is ready to strike. Then the iguana easily escapes by dropping into a stream below. Another great adaptation. Those iguanas know how to get away from those creepy snakes by bringing their bodies right to safety in the perfect time. From the stream, the iguana sees brilliant blue morpho butterflies passing by a tapir who usually sleeps all day but has awakened to get a drink of water. The iguana traces the source of a tweedle-tweet sound to the other edge of the stream. There, a capybara grazes like a gigantic guinea pig. It peacefully munches the long grasses and moist water lilies. The iguana is an excellent underwater swimmer, so it dives below to swim back to the riverbank. I didn't know that iguanas could swim very well. Did you know that? New facts. Below the surface, however, the waters are becoming murky. Now, if I didn't know what the word murky meant, I could look at this picture. Check it out. They said, below the surface, which means under the water, the waters are becoming murky. Does it look really clear and beautiful and brightly colored? I don't think so. I think it looks muddy, a little bit cloudy, mixed up. Not really sure what's going on. I wonder if the next page will tell us about it. Before people began chopping down the trees, the waters of the stream were deep and crystal clear. Now, when it rains, there are fewer tree roots to hold the earth and soak up the water. The red mud slides into the river instead of being held together by tree roots. If the trees continue to be cut down, the creatures and plants you saw in this book will disappear. Many others will disappear too. Over half of the creatures in the world make their homes in tropical rainforests. There are so many different kinds of plants and animals that we don't even know them all yet. People are learning how each kind of plant and animal is needed to keep the rainforest healthy. And, most importantly, we are learning that only people can save the rainforests. So let's recap that page really quickly because that was a really, really important page. But I know there were a ton of words there that you had to listen to. They pretty much said the water in the rainforest and all those streams and rivers used to be this beautiful, icy blue, clear, clean water. Now all of a sudden, it's that murky, muddy, cloudy, can hardly tell what's going on down there, brownish colored. And they said that because a lot of the trees are being cut down. Now, we've talked about why people cut down trees when we were in school. Can you remember a couple of those reasons? I'm going to give you a couple thinking seconds. Why do people cut down trees? So we know that people cut down trees, one, because, well, trees help make wood, and we get a lot of different things that we need and use from wood. For example, the table that my iPad is set on right now that I'm recording from is pure wood. My front door, wood. The paper we use to print on and color on and write on, it's actually made from trees. We get tons of supplies from these trees. People also, a lot of time, cut down trees because they want to build houses, because maybe they get different supplies or materials from them that aren't necessarily that paper and wood that we usually talk about, but different things like the fruits that come from them. Sometimes we just need more space. But when people are cutting down wood and forests and trees, the thing that we're not always thinking about is the way that it's impacting that habitat. All the animals that once lived there no longer have to have a home. The roots, like they mentioned on this page, that were kind of keeping a stable ground are no longer there because you ripped the trees out. So the roots came along with them. So there's a lot of really big consequences or things that happen as a result of taking trees out of their habitat. So I know that a couple of you earlier in this kind of stay-at-home situation actually planted trees by your house. Good for you. That's a wonderful thing to do. You are not only giving animals new homes, but you're helping those plants clean our air. You're hopefully helping the ecosystem around us by providing better, cleaner air, homes for animals, and then, like they mentioned in the rainforest, that nice clean water. We can also see here the different layers of the rainforest. Down here at the very bottom on the ground is called the, surprise, ground layer. The next step up is called the bushy understory. Those plants would probably be about as tall as all of you. The next level would be that lower canopy level. This is where a lot of those birds hang out. The monkeys probably swing among these levels. That would be probably about the size of the trees that we see in our front yards or out in parks around us. Upper canopy is the next level, and then that very, very top level that gets all the sun is called the emergent layer. So those are all the different layers of the rainforest, and I'm sure we'll hear more about those in coming days. Whew, that was a good book, packed with lots of interesting information, lots of cool animals. Again, it was called At Home in the Rainforest, and I know it was a long one, so why don't you take a little break, press pause, and come back when you're ready for the second part of our lesson. Hi friends, welcome back. I hope you took a nice needed little break, refreshed your brain, and you're ready for a little bit more about the rainforest ecosystem, which I have written right up here at the top of our paper. Rainforest ecosystems. Here we've done a T-chart like we did all the time when we were together in our classroom. I have listed a T-chart of two different groups. My first group are living things in the rainforest. My second group are going to be the non-living things. If you noticed that living and living are the same words on both sides of this chart, good for you. So some of the living things that I remember they mentioned in that story were the big trees. Do we know plants are living things? Oh yeah. There were huge leaves. Remember, those leaves are able to make their own food because they're living. Huge leaves are living things in the rainforest. Monkeys are living things. Birds are living things in the rainforest. There are also lots of ants and mosquitoes in the rainforest, along with tons and tons of other animals and insects that they mentioned in our story. Some of the non-living things in the story were the rocks that we saw, the dirt and the mud, and there's also lots of water, which, although it moves, doesn't really need air and sunlight and food to stay alive, so water is not considered a living thing. Are there any other things that you could think that you would add to our living and non-living chart if we were in school together? Tell a parent about them or add them to Seesaw. Okay guys, we learned a lot about the rainforest today. Your next job is to hop on Seesaw and do a little activity. Normally we would be cutting, coloring, and pasting these shapes and animals, but today I just want you to use your iPad to do a little sort about animals in the rainforest. So you will open the Seesaw activity, listen to the directions that I've left for you, and then use your magic finger to sort the different animals into the correct category to tell me if they live at the rainforest or if they do not live at the rainforest. All right, friends, how did it go? Hopefully you were able to listen to the story, learn some new facts about the rainforest, work on that Seesaw activity, and now I have a couple jokes for you. I just wanted to say before I go, I'm proud of you, I love you, I would so much rather be in our classroom reading this story to you, hearing your giggles and questions, and answering them all with the help of Mrs. Mayer and Google. But we're doing our best here in my home classroom. So make sure you're sending me those videos. You're uploading your answers to the Seesaw activity so we can see your hard work. Here's the jokes. Ready? What happened to the big cat that swallowed a ball of wool? Are you ready? She had mittens. Instead of having kittens, she had mittens. Because you make mittens out of wool. Oh, that was a good one. One more for you before you leave. What do you give a gorilla with big feet? Plenty of room. Of course they need plenty of room to stomp through the rainforest if they have those giant feet, right? Oh, we love our jokes. Send me a couple jokes if you have any. I'm sure you've been practicing. Love you guys. I will be back tomorrow for a math lesson, and then again on Friday for some more information about the rainforest. So look out for those. Keep working hard. Keep reading. Keep practicing your power words. Most of all, keep being kind and helpful to your parents and your siblings. Love you all. Miss you.